This is not a chicken farm. This is a factory that produces 850,000 birds a day for one single fast food chain. But how are KFC chickens actually raised? Why have multiple countries investigated their suppliers? And what's the chemical trick behind that finger-licking flavor? In today's episode, we trace KFC's chicken from bioengineered chicks to high-speed slaughter and the dark secrets buried in every bite. Welcome to Deep POV. They are born by the thousands, not under a mother's wings, but under heat lamps in sterile hatcheries, where conveyor belts replace nests and hands wear latex instead of love. These chicks never meet their parents. They hatch into light, noise, and motion. Within hours, they're sexed, sorted, and vaccinated. Sometimes by machine, sometimes by blade. If they're male and part of a layer breed, they're killed instantly, ground alive, or gassed. But for KFC's broiler chickens, the story moves forward. Next stop, the grow-out farms. Inside these massive barns, tens of thousands of chicks are released onto floors covered in wood shavings.
I don't think the animal welfare folks act exactly like the method that the chicken council. You understand the animal welfare standards are written by the National Chicken, who are lobbyists for the industry.
Exactly.
So they're not that hard to adhere to.
They'll never go outside. They'll never see the sun. Their food is formulated. Their light cycles are controlled. And their genetics, engineered. Modern broiler chickens are bred to grow unnaturally fast, reaching slaughter weight in as little as 6 weeks. To put that in perspective, if a human baby grew at that rate, they'd weigh 300 pounds by the time they started kindergarten. But with growth comes pain.
I never understood that phrase cheap meat. Compared to what? What are you comparing it to? There's nothing else out here. 95% of the chickens, this is it. Until he dies, then he's mine. They own the feed till he poops it out, then that's mine. So.
These birds often collapse under their own weight. Their bones can't keep up. Their hearts can't keep up. Some develop burns on their skin from lying too long in ammonia-soaked litter. And yet, they keep growing. Because in the chicken industry, time isn't just money. It's margin. The faster a bird reaches the target weight, the sooner the barn can be emptied and refilled. This system is efficient, but it's also brutal. And KFC, as one of the biggest chicken buyers in the world, helps drive that speed. Even though they don't raise the birds themselves, their purchasing power sets the pace for the farms that do. Every bucket sold starts with a chick engineered for profit. And if this is how it begins, wait until you see what happens when they outgrow their bodies and the clock hits 0. By week 6, the birds can barely walk. Some lie panting, legs splayed, chests rising too fast. But the schedule doesn't care. Trucks arrive. Crews grab 5-6 birds at once by the legs, upside down, wings flap, bones crack. Some are already dead before they reach the crates. Transport begins. Hours in cramped cages. No food, no water, heat in summer, ice in winter. Some suffocate before arrival. At the slaughterhouse, speed is everything. Lines move at over 100 birds per minute. Each chicken is shackled upside down, alive, onto a conveyor. They're stunned by electrified water. But if the bird lifts its head, or if the current is too weak, they stay awake. Then comes the blade. An automated knife slices the throat. If it fails, a worker might follow up. But at this speed, mistakes are common. Some birds enter the scalding tank, fully conscious. A slow death, boiled alive. These are called red birds. And they're not rare. The goal isn't cruelty, it's volume. One KFC supplier in the US slaughters over 2 million chickens a week. To meet demand, corners are cut, eyes are turned. And once the feathers are gone, so is the evidence. What's left? A carcass, plucked, ready for reinvention. But before it's finger-licking good, it must be chemically perfected. And what happens next? makes this part look almost natural. The raw carcass doesn't look appetizing. It's pale, slimy, bruised. But KFC's secret isn't just herbs and spices. It's chemistry. First, the chicken is chilled, not in clean water, but in giant communal tanks. This is the fecal soup, feces, blood, bacteria, shared by every carcass. Next come the injections: water, salt, phosphates, flavor enhancers, pumped in to make the meat juicier, plumper, and heavier. Heavier means more profit. Then comes the breading, factory mixed to fry perfectly. Crispy, golden, uniform. Oil is heated to exact temperatures, but it's reused, sometimes for hours, even days. As it breaks down, it forms acrylamide, a chemical linked to cancer. No label warns you. Then the flavor engineering kicks in. Artificial smoke, MSG, sugar, stabilizers. Each bite designed to hit your dopamine system. Even the crunch, tested to sound satisfying. This isn't cooking, it's construction. Because when you serve 400 million meals a month, taste can't be left to chance. It must be repeatable, addictive, and beneath that crunch isn't just seasoning, it's science. But the most powerful transformation? It's not physical, it's psychological. Because what KFC truly perfected wasn't just fried chicken. It was the illusion that it's harmless, comforting, even wholesome. But to believe that, you have to forget where it came from. And that's where the Colonel steps in. A smiling face, a white suit, and a story powerful enough to cover up the system beneath it. Ready to meet him? The man on the bucket wasn't a colonel. He was a gas station operator, a high school dropout, a failed entrepreneur, until he found the power of image. In his 60s, he reinvented himself. White suit, goatee, southern charm.
Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame.
The public believed it. He called himself Colonel Sanders, and America trusted the myth.
I feel that he has. If he hasn't, there's no truth in the Bible, because he said he would forgive you repent. I'm repenting before you folks, confessing before your folks. You know, when you've had a habit so long, if you don't stay on your guard, you're liable to break the habit.
He franchised his recipe, sold the company, but insisted his face stays on every bucket. Decades later, it still does. But what KFC sells today? It's not the chicken he once made. Sanders pressure-fried small batches in his roadside diner. Today, it's mass-scale slaughter, chemical injection, and speed. He once called the modern product slop, and yet his image remains. Why? Because it works. It gives us nostalgia, comfort, a sense of real food. But that smiling face is a mask, a distraction. Because when you think of the Colonel, you don't think of dark warehouses, broken wings, or ammonia barns. You think of family meals, Sunday cravings, fried indulgence. It's not seasoning, it's storytelling. And KFC knows it. Because in food, the most powerful ingredient is emotion. Wrap the product in a warm story, and the public stops asking questions, stops looking. And if they don't look, they don't see the protests, the lawsuits, the hidden suffering. The Colonel is more than a mascot. He's the illusion that this industry is clean. But behind the suit, behind the story, is a global empire built on what we never see. And what we're about to uncover next is even harder to ignore. Start with the workers. Every drumstick has a cost, and it goes far beyond the fryer. Some workers say they pee themselves to avoid missing quotas. Inside poultry plants, hours are long, movements are repetitive, injuries are routine. Most are low income, often immigrants. Many suffer cuts, crushed fingers, chemical burns. But the pain doesn't stop at the factory door. People nearby report asthma, headaches, depression. Some move away, Those who stay suffer in silence. Communities near chicken farms breathe ammonia and hydrogen sulfide from open lagoons, pits filled with feces, feathers, and blood. And then there are the birds. Many collapse under their own weight, engineered to grow too fast, too big. Some lie in their own waste, developing sores and burns, cramped, panting, picking each other in the dark. All for speed, all for volume. KFC says they don't raise the chickens, but their demand drives the system. And that system? In 2019, the Humane Society accused KFC suppliers of torture. Has consequences. In 2021, the UK banned a KFC ad for promoting farm fresh lies. To this day, KFC refuses to sign the Better Chicken Commitment, a basic animal welfare pledge. And yet, most customers have no idea. Because they're not being told. Because the ads don't show the farms. They show smiling families, golden crust, the kernel. But that pleasure is built on silence. And silence protects the system until it cracks. And when it does, and suddenly we see what's underneath, it doesn't taste the same. You walk into a KFC, you smell the spices, you hear the sizzle, you see the smiling kernel, but you don't see the chickens collapsing under their own weight. You don't see the workers bleeding through gloves. You don't see the ammonia barns or the waste lagoons leaking into nearby homes. All you see is the bucket. But that bucket hides a system, one built on speed, chemicals, and silence. To serve chicken fast, you have to raise it faster, pack them tighter, cut corners deeper. The ads don't show that. Neither does the menu. Because if they did, you might hesitate. You might wonder, what am I really eating? What did it go through? What did it cost? Not in money, in suffering. Because when profit becomes the only ingredient, everything else gets deep fried and buried. So yes, KFC is convenient. It's iconic. It's engineered to taste perfect. But maybe it's not just the chicken that's battered. The chicken once fed families. Now it feeds a system, fast, silent, and hidden behind a smile. Because what's inside the bucket isn't just chicken. It's broken bones, boiling tanks, and stories we're not meant to see. Would you still eat it? If the menu told the truth? If you want to see what's buried beneath the surface, subscribe to DEEP POV, where we're revealing what builds your world.